Hello. Are you or someone you know going to travel? Then this timely message is for you. Everyone knows how inconvenient or even intimidating it is to travel to a foreign country. And with recent international events, this feeling of uneasiness has intensified. If you're like me, you love or would love to be in a foreign country, but just dread or can't stand the headache and problems of getting there. However, in today's society, with an ever-increasing globalized world, international travel is no longer a luxury. It has become not only a necessity, but a common occurrence. One of the major complications has been able to communicate in the destination country's language. At least until now, this has been the case. This difficulty of being able to communicate in the destination country's language plagues most passengers if you're contemplating flying for the first or even the 500th time. Though you probably don't lose sleep at night or wake up in a cold sweat having nightmares about travel, not speaking a foreign language remains as one of the basic fundamental fears of humankind and lies in the deep dark recesses of your subconscious, perhaps even creating a feeling of dread of not being able to communicate in the destination country. While fear of the unknown will probably plague humanity till the end of time, overcoming the fear of unknown languages is our specialty. Let me introduce Excellent Global Language Solutions. Hello, I'm Randy Hughes, and I'd like to offer the solution you seek. Being able to speak multiple languages with the least amount of effort, least cost, and the fastest and highest return on your time and money. Now to you, the interested party of your missionary. Whether you be a proud parent, relative, or friend, how much would it be worth to you to have the peace of mind knowing that your missionary is speaking the target language before entering the M.T.C. We offer a several $1,000 value course for a bare bones cost as our contribution to the missionary work. We contract native speakers, qualified people in strategic locations throughout the world. Some may be already living in the U.S. in the location where the missionary resides to keep overhead low and give them special training using scientific principles, constantly evaluating the client's progress to verify they are applying the principles as taught. All of our clients, regardless of their background, previous language instruction, will attain common milestones and similar progress because Excellent Global is based on scientific research on how our brain actually assimilates information. How wonderful would it be to have your missionary know the mission language before getting to the M.T.C. Help your missionary focus on preaching the gospel and not learning the language. During the latter part of the 18th century, the two major regions of the brain that are responsible for language learning were discovered and were named after the scientific researcher. The German neurologist and psychiatrist Karl Wernicke discovered the Wernicke's area in 1874, the region of the lateral occipital lobe which is responsible for language interpretation, or in other words, understanding the target language speaker in one's own native tongue. Unfortunately, most language systems attempt to allocate language in this region of the brain. If a person moves to the destination country and tries to learn the language there, this is the region of the brain that is responsible. However, there is a much more important region that is concerned with speech. In 1861, the French surgeon Pierre-Paul Broca described two patients who had lost the ability to speak after an injury to the posterior inferior frontal gyrus of the brain near the temporal lobe. This region is the anchor for localization of speech functions and is responsible for speech production. Excellent Global capitalizes upon and uses this region since it is more important, more efficient, and more effective. It's necessary to use one's native tongue as a starting point of learning a foreign language. Some people think it's impossible to learn languages so fast, but Excellent Global is in the forefront of revolutionizing language learning. Suppose you needed to paint a room in your house, and you called a general contractor to paint it. He gave you a bid that had some strange facts on it. He recommended painting the wall using a backhoe. While it may be possible to eventually paint the wall with a backhoe with an experienced operator, this example is totally ridiculous. You need a paintbrush and a roller and some paint. Now, using the Wernicke region of the brain to learn to speak is like using a backhoe to paint a room. Eventually, after 10 or 15 years, it is possible to be fluent in a foreign language. But using the proper region of the brain, learning languages takes a very short period of time. That's why at Excellent we use the Broca's region. What are the advantages of using Excellent Global to learn languages? Excellent does the two necessary things correctly. First of all, we know what to teach, and second, we know how to teach it. Many people get distressed when they forget things. However, this is natural and normal. Imagine if you had a childhood trauma that you relived every day, every hour of your entire life. Therefore, one of the principles that we understand at Excellent Global, we necessarily forget things. Non-linear is the way we naturally and normally learn new information. Excellent Global's strategy is to present the new content and then constantly review it. Take, for example, the telephone numbers that you know by heart. You didn't just sit down one day and tell yourself, I need to memorize these numbers. As you use the telephone numbers during a short period of time, you just learn the numbers naturally. Let me show you how simple and easy this is. How do you say, I'm happy in French? Say, je suis heureuse, just like a garden hose. Je suis heureuse. Now, how do you say, I was happy? Say, j'étais heureuse. And how do you say, I'm happy? Je suis heureuse. Now, how do you say, I'll be happy? Say, je serai heureuse. How do you say, I'm happy? Je suis heureuse. How do you say, I was happy? J'étais heureuse. And I'll be happy? Je serai heureuse. These words will probably stick in your subconscious because we trained you non-linearly using Excellent Global. So you may wake up in the middle of the night and say, I know how to say, I'm happy in French. Therefore, non-linearly is what is necessary because our brain filters out what is superfluous and what is important. Excellent presents this information to be learned in several recursions, different periods separated by a break. And once the information is studied, it will be constantly reviewed and recursively until it's learned. Now, what do you need to know in order to become fluent in any language? Have you ever considered how many thousands of words are necessary? Current research shows that only about 1,500 words are necessary to speak any language. At Excellent Global, we have the expertise and have done the research to know which of all the word choices are the 1,500 words. And second of all, we teach non-linearly. Just as the DVD or even any not so sophisticated cell phone has replaced the old VCR because nowadays it doesn't take a very sophisticated cell phone to plug into data show and have a full-fledged movie theater experience with subtitles or dubbing, something never dreamed of in the period of the VCR. Excellent Global has accompanied and grown with modern recent research. So 1,500 words does not present such a great challenge. As I said before, there were two things that were necessary to learn any language. The other thing we need to know to become fluent in a foreign language is knowing grammar structure. That is the sequence of the placement of the 1,500 words. Therefore, as you can see, learning a new language is a simple task. Of course, there are other considerations, pronunciation, intonation, and other nuances, but basic communication skills can be learned quickly and effectively. Give your missionary a head start. Let him enter the M.T.C. fluent in his mission language. Get him in the missionary field teaching from day one. Get your missionary's language off the ground. Contact your Excellent Global office today.